As the 2023 NFL Draft is rapidly approaching, we're going to look at some of the positional needs, well, actually all of them, that the Eagles need and try and address them one by one in detail. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back at you another analysis/news video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. Just like yesterday's video that you weren't even watching, this one's probably going to go long. Might do another portion, and we'll see where the time ends up being. But let's get into it, man. So, ranking the Eagles' positional needs in the 2023 NFL Draft. There's that wizard there. Look at him again. Looking sharp as a tack. All right, so first, offensive tackle. I don't agree with this being number one. It might be up for debate. But anyways, we lack depth there. So we had Andre Dillard, who was our backup swing tackle because Jordan Mailata rose as the Skywalker did. Or they didn't. But anyways, that should have been Mailata. I'm not Mailata. That should have been one. Anyways, you know what I'm saying. It should have been one Andre Dillard, but he didn't. He's trying to be funny there and blew up in my face. But anyway, I'm willing to do that with the channel anyway, so let's go. Yeah, he played actually with us for at guard and gave us quality snaps there when Landon Dickerson went out a couple times. He was injured in game, but he went back in most of the times. I think all the times. Just had a gap there, but he filled in admirably. And Jack Driscoll was actually our backup, top backup tackle. And because he can't flip from the left to the right side. He played atrociously on the right side, was adequate on the left side, and we didn't get to see because of a forearm injury him start, and then Jordan Mailata took the reins in that job and never looked back. So. Yeah, our depth is it's lacking there, and we could draft a guy high because our backup center last year is going to slot in most likely at the starting right guard position, and that's going to leave us also light at center. So I would say O-line maybe if they put O-line because our center depth we need a guy back there. Guard we have Suopeta. Josh Seals is out because he's a rapist, allegedly. I gotta say that. Disclaimer. And like I said, Dillard went on to Greener Pastures, signing a 3-year, $29 million deal with the Titans. So we could use a guy there, but I don't think that is the most pressing need. It would be great. Like Lane Johnson is slated. He signed a $33 million extension in this offseason, extending him to I think 3 years left on his deal. And he's saying that he wants to at least play 2 more years. So that's not an immediate need. Yes, he's coming off surgery, but we saw what he did even being injured. So, I mean, the guy is lights out. He's a future Hall of Famer. If you devalue him just because he plays right tackle, you're not seeing the game. But those are our backups from last year. Excellent depth, and like I said, left tackle gone. Suopeta, he's decent. Jack Driscoll's decent. Josh Seals, I think he was, could give you some snaps here or there. Cam Jurgens was excellent, but, we still can upgrade. And, like I said, we'll have 2 spots in the future, but I don't see the rush on that. Because this year, at least, we have starters. And then, bring in a guy that can slot in next year or has the potential to do that, or at the very least give you depth there. And then worry about that next year because that's still 4 out of 5 guys, that are slated, to be starting players, as well as guys who are not just turnstiles or just replacement level. They're playing at an exceptional level. So why worry about that extremely when you're trying to get back to the bowl? That's the way we build the line. We like Jordan Mailata was a 7th round. Landon Dickerson was a 2nd. Jason Kelsey was a 6th. Cam Jurgens was a 2nd. And Lane Johnson was a 1st. So actually, outside of the 1st round, we had huge success. And we got to attribute that to Jeff Stoutland, the excellent coach who we extended this offseason. Good job, Howie. And he just takes guys that are, putty and makes them into the most refined statues. Maybe that's not the best phrasing, but he does work with his hands, basically, in his mind, and molding those guys. And the fact that we have Jordan Mailata, he didn't even play a down a lake of football until he got to the freaking States, out of New Zealand. Australia? New Zealand. He's a Kiwi. Should tell you all you need to fucking know. Yeah, he played rugby and he had the build, but to teach this guy from the ground up the game, freaking amazing. So, and he's not just a substandard or an average starter. He's an above average starter in the league. A Pro Bowl alternate, Pro Bowl caliber player. That being said, I still don't see it as our most pressing need. I don't see defensive tackle either. Because we brought back Fletcher. Jordan Davis is still here. He's on the second year. And he should make a leap. That being said, he's still a run stuffing defensive tackle. Milton Williams is still here. He's a quality player. I don't know if they just didn't feel like they could trust him. I mean, that's why they pushed to bring Fletcher back. I mean, I would think they would have done that regardless, but maybe they don't see him as anything other than being a rotational piece. We lost Javon Hargrave, which is a huge loss. Our pass rushing D tackle, still a solid player, even though he's on the wrong side of 30. He's going to be turning 31 this season. But that being said, we added Kentavious Street, who should have been a day 2 pick towards ACL at his pro day. And he's come on in 2021 and 2022 after missing most of his rookie year, then having 3 sacks and 3.5 sacks in the past 2 seasons. He's a good rotational piece. So, I mean, you're solid there at tackle. You're not great like we were last season, but you have the potential to be good to very good, and we'll see. But we don't need to draft Jalen Carter. It'd be great to get him, but I don't have that as our most pressing need. I would say, I would say keep O-line there at number 1 because the depth issue, that is really something that could hold us back. We had great injury luck last year. We started all 22 starters, minus Derek Barnett, which is an asterisk because he's a great. I don't know. So he's a great. Had 8 penalties last year, I think, which is horrible. But started same 22 guys. We finished the season in the Super Bowl with those guys playing the same roster, the same starters depth chart as the starters we started the season with, which is just unbelievable. That being said, Hassan Reddick will be back. He's going to be on year 2 of a $45 million 3-year deal. Josh Sweat, we signed him to like a 4-year free extension. He's up I think 3 or 2 years left. Brandon Graham on a 1-year deal. They combined for 38 sacks, and Brandon Graham was coming off an Achilles injury, but he had 11. His first time traversing into double-digit sack territory. And I'm glad we were able to retain him. He's 35, but he's still going to bring a lot, especially by way of experience to that DN room. And Sweat is nothing, to sniff at. A former Pro Bowl player in 2021. And Hassan Reddick, obviously, the name. He balled out last year. We need to add a guy or two there, and that's about it. And we'd love to add like a guy who can come in and have an immediate impact, be a splash guy. Maybe offer a little bit something different or something a specialty at the position to rush a passer. He's an extremely fast guy, or he's a tweener, can offer versatility, especially if we go to a NASCAR package. But that being said, I don't. If you got to rate him, I mean, of course, I don't know. I would put at our number 2 cornerback, and then I would say edge rusher, and then I would say running back, and then I would say D tackle. So I mean, you can kind of. I mean, sure, it's kind of like touch and go, but that's just the way I would put it. Because cornerback, if either Slay or Bradbury get hurt, we're in for a world of hurt because we don't know what we have in Josh Jobe and I forget the other guy on the edge, but Avonte Maddox, our ship has sailed. Sails with him. We sink when he goes down, and when he's riding the tide well, we're up. But yeah, he just he wasn't able to stay healthy. He was in and out of the lineup 3 to 4 times last year, and every time he went out, teams targeted Scott. He came in to replace him, and he just was not good last year. Even though he was a rookie as a nickel corner, he couldn't play in space. He couldn't do anything really well in the scheme that we were asking him to do, and he was just picked on. His passer rating was atrocious. I know it was in the triple digits, but that being said, this guy, we need to bring in some guy. If we don't already have him in by way of Greedy Williams, I don't think he's a slot corner that can play nickel corner. I mean, it's one of the most difficult positions to play because it's completely different from playing outside position with slot receivers shifty, and you're gonna have guys that rotate in there, and then just playing from the inside the numbers with all that space. It's a completely different ass than playing on the island on the boundary. That being said, we can bring in get some middle round picks, hopefully between rounds 4 and 6 and 7, 4, 5, and 6, to target a guy in this historic draft where there's 20 corners or so that have at least a third round grade on them. We need to add to our cornerback room. But those guys, Slade's 32, Bradbury's coming up on 30, and we're gonna need eventual replacements as well because they both signed 3-year deals, but more likely looking at 2, and then still be 34 by the time that year 2 rolls around. That's ancient for a corner, so you don't want to depend on either or both of those guys at that age. Just with the league, it's a year. League is a year-to-year league. You got to show me what you can do for me now, lately, and just last year you get to you get to be on the premises just based off of last year, but we might ask you to box dash if you play poorly. Anyways, yeah, I think we if even drafted Gonzalez, I wouldn't be mad because that would be development. It'd be sad to sit him for like a year or 2, but better to be safe than sorry. And by way of having a prepared and adequate talented guy waiting in the wings than to have nobody back there. Wide receiver, it's sneaky. So they put running back down here. I would say different because I have a theory, and I've been espousing it in videos, and they actually started from Philly 500, but I give them credit for that. But anyways, wide receiver slot, we could do so much there. Quez Watkins, the guy who moved from the outside to from being number 2, got bumped from the starting lineup when the AJ Brown we traded for him in the 1st and the 3rd. Robbed the fucking Titans, got their GM fired. He got bumped to the slot and just never looked comfortable there. Didn't have a high number of snaps. The offense ran through Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, and Dallas Goedert, and then also a quarterback who rushes and passes, and as well as Miles Sanders. But that's option number 4. So you weren't gonna get highlighted, but when your name is called, we're gonna need you to show up, and he just couldn't do it. Can he focus in and train and rehabilitate that shoulder and really add to that chip he had on his shoulder, make it a boulder, and really be inspired and play? Maybe, but even then, I think he's on the last year of his deal. You don't want to bank on him beyond this. I don't think we're going to re-sign him. We also need a receiver to bring to come in and do the dirty work that Zach Pascal, formerly of the Eagles, who's now with Jonathan Gannon in the desert with the Cardinals, did. So after a slot guy, could be a small guy who's fast, a big guy who's kind of fast, and then he's good at the jump ball. Whatever we identify is the best for that fit. But I'd love it, at the very least, a guy to come in and challenge Quez Watkins for that job and to put pressure on him. Running back, for me, this is number 1 actually. Just because, and I'd rank safety up there as well. Safety, I put at number 3 or number 2. I put running back and then safety. And it's funny, I know people are gonna say this is a luxury, But Bijan Robinson, he could transform the offense. He could be transformative back there. Getting a generational talent, and like there was a tweet that someone put up that scouts, people who evaluate around the league, see him as a gold jacket guy. If you were to add that to our offense, and his best scheme fit is where? In Philly. If you add a guy like that to the roster and you put him behind that offensive line, just think about not talking about the numbers he could put up, the effect he could have on opposing defenses and the production. Not numbers, just talking about him being productive. Man! So, I'd love to see that. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to go on a rant, on a fierce motherfucking rant in a video sometime later in this offseason, preferably before the draft. But, I mean, yeah, most likely before the draft. Not most likely, definitely. But anyways, man, he'd be fucking amazing. I'd settle for Zach Charbonnet because he can do everything. He's not as great a talent as Bijan, but he can catch, pass block, and run the hell out of the football. So would be a nice consolation prize, but I would be mad that we wouldn't be getting the transformative player that Bijan Robinson can be. And I love what Philly 500 said in this video today. I don't usually do this, borrow from talking points, but I will because he had a great one. The Eagles don't look at him the way they see him most likely in the same way they saw CMC. He's just a weapon. He's a guy that, regardless of position, regardless of value or how he's seen around the league, how we see him matters the most. And what we think he could do in our offense matters so much that we were willing to acquire him. Whereas other people, looking at his position and looking at his intrinsic value, whereas we're seeing the impact that he could have and valuing that over the confines of, what he is and what he's supposed to be. And it just would be smart because we're going to have him for... Anyways, safety, like I said, I'd put that up there at number 2 and number 3. Running back at 1, safety 2, 3, then O-line. Because, we lost both starters, CJ Gardner-Johnson. And, we've got some nice guys back there, but we're going to need someone. Terrell Edmonds is on a 1-year deal. Could we potentially extend him? Yeah, but we're not known for paying safeties. Why not get a guy similar to Bijan you can bring in for... And could be Brian Branch. Could be the safety out of Texas A&M. We could target in the 2nd round or 3rd round. And, but a guy that you could develop, have into your system, pair with Reed Blankenship for, a couple of years. I think it would be smart and have that guy come in and learn from, Terrell Edmonds and Reed, and then step into a starter role next year. Perfect. Linebacker. I really don't have this hype there, but just because I'd rather draft somebody and then develop them. Like, just say, for example, we could get that, I don't think he'd be there, like 3rd, 4th round. Iowa's Jack Campbell. I think it's Jack Campbell. Excellent linebacker. Smart, hits, and develop him, just have him sit behind Morrow for a year. So I'm the same trend as kind of last year, drafting guys, redshirting them, and then letting them loose the 2nd year. And, this is the route we're going to have to go because Jalen's going to go from making $1.5 million to maybe upwards of $50 million. And it's going to limit what we can do as far as bringing guys in. We're going to really have to focus in on the draft and controlling these, the salaries of guys that we bring in, and bringing in true impact players from the outside via free agency or trade. Interior offensive line, I could include that. I include that with tackles, but I would say that would be the last one as well. Tight end, quarterback, no. Maybe a 7th round guy that got a UCLA, cool. Tight end, this would be a want. I don't even say it's a luxury because it's a valid need. Grant Calcaterra, great receiver, not a blocker. Jack Stoll, not a great receiver, but a good blocker. Some of their parts is good, but I'd love a guy that can fit in one. Let's say we could get Washington, the tight end out of Georgia. Man, think about that. running back, tight end, and slot. If you address those on offense, unstoppable. But anyways, that's something to be addressed later. And punter, yeah, like I agree here. The free agency route, or like like undrafted free agent, bringing a guy. But at least someone that's challenged Aaron Siposs. He's come up small in big moments. Anyways, that's the evaluation of the roster. Like I said, some of these out are position here or there, but we're not gonna get to the 3 players today. Let's X that out. We'll look at some of the things around the league that are going on. Mess that up completely, but anyways, let's see. Jordan Phillips, the Buffalo Bills re-signed him, a good rotational piece there, and a lot of guys, just gonna see the same names. Let's see, Joey Porter Jr. being brought in, Darnell Wright being brought in, Eric Rowe, a depth signing for the Carolina Panthers, a former safety of ours, a second-round pick. Talented guy, but just couldn't really put it together. But he provides a good amount of depth. Rasheem Green, I don't know him, to be honest. Levis being evaluated by the Colts, I said the Cowboys. Corey Peters retiring. Kudos to you. Shout out to your next career. Patriots bringing in a cadre of players like they usually do that are wide, varying talent levels as well as positions, and who knows what the fuck is going on in Bill Belichick's mind. Shoot D tackle, talented guy. We could also look at him and also look at the Florida D tackle instead of going with Jalen Carter. That could be an option. Let's see. We don't need him to be we don't need the D tackle to be a star. Let's see. Quentin Jefferson signed with the Jets. I don't really know who he is, to be honest. I forgot. But here's the big one here. I was waiting for this. Ryan Neal got signed with Tampa Bay by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so he's off the market. Talented safety who had a 86.5 grade in coverage by PFF. I recently see it can be spotty, but I really trust their evaluations. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, he came from the Seahawks. Could have been swayed by Sean Desai, but I think it comes out to money. I think when it comes out, he's probably gonna see he got at the very least probably $6 million or something like that, maybe $7 million. Even this late in free agency, I'd be surprised if he got 3 or 4. If he did, they're kind of going off of last year that he kind of just was starting to send. He had a great season last year, but he's been on the uptick. But yeah, I mean, he was a guy that I would love. But we already signed a lot of guys that are outside of 2 guys. I think one or 2 guys that are former second or first round picks, high on talent, but for one reason or another, their value, they weren't valued highly, and we got them on cheap deals and very affordable, minimal deals and terms that fit for us. So let's look around the league here. Let's see. Cam Newton revealed a list of quarterbacks he sit behind. Jalen Hurts was number 6. Don't want him though, so it doesn't matter. But it's funny. He chose a lot of guys that are either rookies or very inexperienced, or guys that, obviously guys that are mobile because he fits what they'd be looking for in the backup. But guys that are very tenable, either by way of injury or their play, and will give him a chance to start, which is just kind of showing that it's still about Cam, which we don't want to hear, see, or be thinking about you, the backup, more than the starter. Just a distraction, which is why I don't know if he's gonna be brought in this offseason or not. But let's see, Jets adding an ex-Packers quarterback, I think Ryan Boyle, and yeah, that just shows that they're kind of really really selling out for Aaron Rodgers there, and yeah, we'll see if it makes or not. But I really think it's gonna go through. It's just a question of when. And the last thing we're gonna look at here is some news that I ticketed I couldn't get to because I was at work, but here we go. Yeah, the Bucks. Here's more virtue signal around the league. The Bucks GM says he's high on the running back White, but empty words and actions mean everything. Be like, yeah, I'm high on him, man. Yeah, they'll be doing that all fucking day. So I don't trust a GM's word further than I could spit. Let's see. Was there anything else? Okay. Mariota, he did an interview, I think his first since he came to Philly, talking about, he wants to elevate the, the quarterback room and wants to help Jalen Hurts on his development. He's been in the league 8 years. He's been a starter. He's been cut. He's been to the playoffs, lost there, obviously. He brings a wealth of experience to our quarterback room, being the elder statesman there now, and that's great. He's selfless in that he just wants to be a guy to bounce information off of. He wants to have Jalen come to him, ask him questions, and just help. He said in his development, he said AJ and Devonta, that very hungry to learn, very willing to do whatever it takes to win and to get an edge. So I mean, that's all we want to hear. That's great confirmation of what we already know about those two guys, and I'm just excited to have him there, and hopefully he can work on the accuracy issues. But other than that, we got a great backup, at least for 1 year, in Marcus Mariota. And I think that's where we're going to end this video, man. Longer one. Thought I wouldn't go this long, but anyways, you're not even watching, though. It's all good, though, man. Because as I always say, fly, Eagles, fly, and let mother go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.